Good evening. Welcome. You are listening to K.I.S.S Recovery 101. This is Bridge Sky, your nightly, weekly, Sundays, 8 p.m. live host. One of these days, though, I plan to have a co-host. Nobody wants that kind of commitment, though, lately. Anyway, so tonight is going to be really good and positive and maybe a little feisty, a little juicy. But it's something that I find continues to happen a lot. And my favorite word, if you ever watched, what was it, Pee-wee's Playhouse, he had the word of the day. Well, the word of my, it seems like, recovery journey is boundaries. So I have a guest here and a special surprise co-guest as well. We're a little cramped quarters here. My studio's small, but it's wonderful. And I feel the love and wisdom and positivity. So if this is your first time listening, KISS is a fun acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. And I really like that because there's a lot of things I overcomplicated, and especially on Recovery 101, that's just the basics. So anything we talk about, we try to keep it simple, break it down, and make it relatable and, of course, authentic. So tonight, we're going to talk about gossip. Gossip is a vicious cycle, and people who gossip generally have very high levels of anxiety and anger, and the gossip can be a defense mechanism to relieve their own insecurities. And these are people that are often feeling isolated, they're threatened or lonely, and they use gossip as a quick fix. And we are tonight, we're going to be discussing basic forms of boundaries. There's different types, and finding a balance that works for you. Because let me tell you, my boundary is not going to work for you. And you need to find your own boundary that feels right and true and that you actually stick to. Okay. So having the ability to set a boundary for yourself goes beyond letting others know your limits. It allows your mind to truly believe how much you really do care for you. And understanding how to operate on a deeper level and see the crossover from addiction recovery to self-improvement recovery. And I loved that piece. There's some stuff I'm going to post later, some great websites that really talk about this, goes so much deeper than I even imagined. But I know for myself, I have crossed over. I definitely no longer have to dwell in my past. It pops up, it crops up, but really my recovery is not from my addictions anymore. My recovery is really focused on bettering myself, reflecting on myself, and learning. Okay, enough rambling. So my guest here tonight, she is fantastic. So I've known her for a little bit here now, a couple of years maybe. I'll let her correct me if I'm wrong. But I've known of her, and even before I even met her, I've always heard great things. This person goes above and beyond. She's that person that, see, I'm that person, my phone is off, it's vibrating, I'm staying in bed. She's that person, that phone goes off, she's checking it, she shows up at your fucking door. She's amazing. And unfortunately, I feel like her heart's on her sleeve a lot of times, and people take advantage of her kindness. I have to put it out there. I'm sorry. I love you. And I'm one of those people that, I don't know, it upsets me when I see that because she is such a wonderful person. And she's honest, and I love that about her too. She's just authentically blunt and honest about her shit. She's real shit. She's the person I keep in my inner circle for a good reason. But anyway, I'll stop going on. Guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then if you don't mind, introduce your partner in crime here. Haha.
Hey, Angie in recovery, and
Teresa, her sister.
yeah, in from California, baby. So, yes, Angie in recovery. I've been recovering from life probably the entire 38 years of my life. I love recovery. I love sobriety. I thank God for the fellowship and what has been taught to me over the years in these rooms. What I really have learned in the past year is about balance, like Bridget was talking about, balance and freedom, and really harnessing really the yin and the yang. There is going to always be discomfort and pain and struggle, and we can limit that by sharing our things, our life honestly, and really checking our motives And I'm like, oh man, gossip. Okay, well, I'm guilty gossiper over here. Definitely needing to highlight these areas in my life. And I was telling my sister, probably use some duct tape most of the time. I really just need to listen and learn. And I'll let my sister share a little bit about herself.
Go ahead.
Teresa here. This is Angela's sister, and I'm coming in from California. I'm visiting. This is where I was born and raised in Minnesota, Minneapolis. It's incredible to be back, and this is the coolest experience that I've had. Coming in and just revisiting all these old memories. It's kind of finding my roots again. I've blocked out this part of my life for a long time, and this topic reminds me of my emotional sobriety. And, it's not only about drugs and alcohol. It's absolutely about, recovering from the guilt and the shame and the trauma and how we deal with that and show up in our day-to-day life. And I think that we can all be mirrors and examples to each other. So this topic is really, it hits home for me, and it's something that I try to revisit every day and stay conscious and aware of. And I also think that I think it's underrated, and it's not necessarily talked about enough. We all deal with gossip in our own version of reality, and we want to paint the picture in our light. And, there's always usually a victor and a loser. And I think just that balance that you were talking about of finding the middle ground and finding just that we can have peace in ourselves and, share the light and just share in reality and the truth of what's really going on. And just breaking it down, like you said, keep it simple. And I think that's really important. So that's enough out of me. And I will give it back to the topic.
Okay. Girl power. Here we go. Like, I love this. I love that this is all women together and showing up. So here's the thing. And you already mentioned that, you quote unquote gossip. But here, I find that there's a big difference, okay? I feel like people need to vent, right? Okay, so some people might say, I'm not gossiping, I'm just venting. But I think the big difference is, for me, I have to vent, okay? And I've learned who to vent to and who not to. I love that you guys are sisters. I love the sister. That's usually a safe person. I'll say my sister's not. But I have sisters in recovery, specific ones. I have a sponsor. I have specific people that you could call gossiping, but I have to vent. I'm human, okay? And things piss me off and I need to talk about them, or things are upsetting me, or I'm feeling fearful. So I think knowing the difference. However, I also think that, actually, we're going to go into a clip that I think really solidifies who are those safe people to talk with, share with. And I'll tell you, especially in the female world, these are the six types of people who do not deserve to hear your shame story. These 6 types listed out. Oh my goodness, no wonder there's gossip all the time, all day, every day. So I'm going to do this clip. It's only a couple minutes. Ooh, and we got some listeners. Yes, so I forgot to mention, if you're listening, it's live for a reason. I want you to interact. I want you to comment, questions. I want your opinions. I want your viewpoints. Like, we're 3 of us here today to also engage in that conversation with you. So, hello, Facebook user. That's the nice thing. Facebook, you don't have to check that box. You could keep your stuff anonymous or private. And then YouTube is open public platform. But if you do not share who you are, just mind you, I can't see who you are, so no shout outs. All right, let's jump into the clip. So this is Brene Brown and Oprah. And Brene, there's this book, Gifts of Imperfection. Beautiful, beautiful book. But she's going to specifically talk about those 6 people never to share a shame story to. They don't deserve it, okay? And honestly, a lot of people just like to hear stuff to pass it around to feel better about themselves. But really, I don't know, anybody come gossiping to me, I'm wondering, what's really going on with you? All right, here we go. 6 types of people who do not deserve to hear your shame story. If you go on YouTube, it's the OWN channel. Here we go.
Of imperfection, where you say, if we share a shame story with the wrong person, they can easily become one more piece of flying debris, so well said, in an already dangerous storm. We want solid connection in a situation like this, something akin to a sturdy tree firmly planted in the ground. We definitely want to avoid the following. The friend who hears the story and actually feels shame for you, she gasps and confirms how horrified you should be, then there's awkward silence.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have to make her feel better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that happen?
Oh my goodness. Where you're like, yeah.
Oh,
so now
God.
you have to now put
Yeah.
your shingle out for that person. Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm still in shame and I'm one less friend down. I'm like, and you're gone.
The friend who responds with sympathy. I feel so sorry for you rather than empathy. I get it. I feel with you and I've been there. If you want to see a shame cyclone turn deadly, throw one of these at it. Oh, you poor thing. Yes. Or the incredibly passive aggressive Southern version of sympathy. I love this. Bless your heart. Yes.
That gives me the shivers when you say that. That's
Yes.
like, I'm fixing to tear you down and God is on the side.
Yeah.
It is the worst.
We've all been there. The friend who needs you to be the pillar of worthiness and authenticity. She can't help because she's too disappointed in your imperfections because you've let her down. Yes.
Painful.
The friend who is so uncomfortable with vulnerability that she scolds, how did you let this happen? The friend who's all about making it better and out of her own discomfort refuses to acknowledge that you can actually be crazy and make terrible choices. You're exaggerating, the person says. It wasn't that bad.
Right.
Yes. And the friend who confuses connection with the opportunity to one-up you. Well, that's nothing. Listen to what happened to me. So when you open yourself up and you're vulnerable enough to share something that has shamed you, what are you really looking for?
I'm looking for the person who loves me, not despite my vulnerability and imperfection, but because of it. I'm looking for what I call my move the body friends. I'm looking for the folks who are going to show up and wade through the deep with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a myth that you should have more than one or two of those. You know, the TV commercials that show 15 of us laughing and doing that kind of stuff. You got one person in your life who you can call and say, I just told a bold-faced lie to someone I care about and I have no way to get out of it and I'm in a shame storm of epic proportion. You have one person that look at you and say, all right, let's do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you. I've done it. Let's talk it through. You are so lucky.
And if you have two or three, that's
Forget
it. Forget
Lottery.
it. Lottery.
Yeah. And you know what we all do, myself included, is we steamroll over those people to get the attention and appreciation of the people who will never show up for us like that.
Wow.
So like, you know, you may be my best friend and you might be all around me all the time, but those folks, those women at the mall that I don't know, they're the ones I'm really worried about.
Yeah.
Woo! I'm going to cut it right there. And I'm going to just speak on first because there's a few things I want to speak on, but I want to highlight what she just said. So I went to this great speaker and he mentioned, especially when you're new in recovery, the people you shit on the most are the people, your front row people. They're called front row people. They're there for you no matter what. And they've always been there for you. And I love that she points out a lot of times those are the people that when you're gossiping, you know, when you're sharing their shit, those are the people you just think they have that unconditional, you know, you're going to have that unconditional friendship with them. And so you're more interested in building these connections, maybe just in the moment, and try to impress people or whatever, distract them from your own shit. But these people don't even really care about you. Not really. They're not going to unconditionally, they might care about you essentially, but they're not going to unconditionally be there for you, like your besties, like your, you know, sister, or like, you know, your family sometimes. And I can't say family because for me that doesn't apply. But I know for myself, my relationship with my sister growing up, I was that person for her. She always bulldozed over me. And she cared so much about her fake book friends and her status and just in the moments. And I was the last person to get a thank you, a card. And I think for me, this is great that we're talking about boundaries too, is I'd set a boundary. I'd keep it for a while. And then, you know, I just gave her so much. I just felt so much like understanding, compassion for her because she struggles and goes through shit. But it, you know, what's that saying? Fool me once, it's shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And she shamed his shit all over me like 10 times. So the last final straw, you know, it really hurt bad, but it also could have really hurt my children bad too, and I had to cut it. I had to make one of these strong ego boundaries that we'll talk about later. But that's just one point. I'm gonna pass the mic over to the lovely ladies next to me. Anything from the clip you guys want to talk about? Anything that stood out?
And here, so we looked up what is gossip, and I really was blown away a little bit because I thought if I was passing judgment and I was talking about their character, that was gossip and judgment. Well, it says here it's casual or unconstrained, which is kind of my MO, unconstrained conversation or reports about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed as being true. Even if it's true, man, I really have to be careful with what I'm sharing. I would say 100% that I will be somebody who said, can we just change the subject? I mean, I really do want to validate people and what they're saying. And I am one of those persons who can, I am a person. Anyway, somebody who will listen, like listen and listen and listen and listen. And it gets to be too much where I don't have any way of stopping it, or my kids are around and then I have to actually be a parent. So, hey, I can't talk right now. Anyway, so yeah. Brene is so wise. I don't know much about Oprah, but she has her own show, so I'm sure she's great. What I'm learning is that trust is really hard, and I can't trust everybody, and I do feel alone a lot. So I have my God, and I have some people that I can trust, and it's really just going to be about going through life, and I'm trying not to hold on too tight to what people think, what people say. Oh, we were discussing this earlier, that everyone will have a different perspective, a different energy, a different feeling. Your experience is never be mine. And what's even the point of sharing sometimes if you can't even really understand that you weren't there? But I definitely know that writing it down or getting it out of my head has definitely been healing and prosperous.
Wonderful. And then, Teresa, do you have something that you want to chime in on too?
All right, this is Teresa, and I relate so much to what both of you beautiful women have just said. I think for me, it is so important to find my safe space, my safe people, but also to check my resources, right? To like check the source, fact check myself to see if what I'm saying rings true, outside of my personal feelings with it, right? My attachment to it. Do I just want to paint myself in the better light, or is this something that's real and true and authentic and genuine and isn't saying it just to be right or to hear myself talk, which I found a lot in my early recovery. And I learned a lot from my sponsor that, someone without the same experience as me can't necessarily give me the solution that I'm looking for. So if I take it to a safe space where someone who's been through the situation that I'm going through and has found a helpful solution, that I can really find that useful. And also, just like my personal experience, anything that I've gone through, I can use to help somebody else who's lost in their own way and is going through the same situation. And I find that a lot in recovery. Like my pain and suffering doesn't have to be useless. And it also doesn't have to be gossip about everyone else who was involved in the situation either. I can speak from my perspective, and that can be enough. Like I can just talk through whatever it is that I feel the need to talk through in a safe space and then keep it pushing. Like I can grow with the people that are there to support me and watch me grow, offer their advice and their solutions. And if it's in the right direction, then I can take that. And I think my sister has been also like, okay, Bridge was talking about her relationship with her sister. And I think that in my addiction, I bulldozed right over my sister and my entire family because I was so self-absorbed, as we usually are in that headspace. And I didn't see the people that were right in front of me who, were my last resort. And it was all out of pride that I wouldn't reach out to them. And I would gossip saying that they were either trying to control me in my young and crazy mind and my headspace, that I just needed to do what I needed to do when I needed to do it. Family was there for me when no one else was, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties, so hopefully that all went through. I don't know if you missed any of that. But I love what I think you just cut off the last 30 seconds. So there's an alarm, which just means we need to interact with people commenting, which I see Facebook users are commenting. Let's see. Good topic tonight. Take your time picking those people in your inner circle, 100%. And another one says, I overshare a lot. That's something I've been working on. Does this person need to know what I'm telling them? So a key thing too, just when you two were sharing, and as you can see, I have to write it down. And I have squirrel issues, and I can't remember. I definitely would, especially Angie, with what you said. You feel like maybe you overshare. I feel like definitely with my kids, I have to watch what I say because now I have roommates, right? So, they're just people that I feel safe to just kind of let some things go. And the house is, you could hear everything. So, but definitely gauging who a safe person and trusted person is. That's why like sponsors are nice, or, a mentor or guide, somebody that you really respect as a person, right? You can take constructive criticism because like what Teresa said before we got on the show, that I love that she made a point to say was, we're going to call you on your bullshit. People that love and care about you are going to help you see both sides. And I find that a lot of people that run around gossiping are saying their side all over the place. Well, for me, that's a red flag. And I'm like thinking in my head, there's two sides, and why are they such in a hurry to tell me their side? So I never make a judgment on that, and basically what I've heard is when someone's sharing stuff like that with you, it's either a loving response or a cry for help. So when someone shared some stuff, I'm wondering what that cry is, because there's something going on inside. So yeah, know your audience. Yes, and know your audience. That's why the meetings are really crucial for a lot of us, because you are supposed to keep that shit in the meetings, okay? Again, unfortunately, a lot of people, and I gotta be compassionate. A lot of us aren't clear-minded and clear-headed when we first walk in. But if you are that person and you've been in recovery for a minute, you know what you're doing. You know damn well that you could hear someone venting or gossiping and leave it there, okay? If you're going around passing stuff around, that's definitely on you. And last thing I just wanted to point out with that clip was, the type number 3, it was that person that you put up on a pillar or a pedestal, right? And so when they've fallen off or they're sharing something that's kind of negative, you're like, wait a second, I thought you were like perfect. And I think for me being a sponsor or mentor, and I wonder if you can relate on this, it is hard. Like there's a lot of my sisters and people maybe that I'm working with just on the steps. And I know that it's not, especially if they're new, I don't share certain things with them because right now they're taking the steps, and they're taking what I say. They might be taking it too seriously, and or not too seriously. They might be taking it for really as a representation of my character and my integrity, and so if I'm falling apart and crying, and or I'm angry and I'm talking about how angry I am and venting about my resentments, and I'm trying to teach them not to be resentful, that's a little conflicting. So I'm definitely mindful of who I share to. But the fourth one, which I really liked, is that person that is asking, how'd you let that happen? To me, that's the normies. That's I don't share recovery shit with people for sure outside of recovery at all. Now I'm in this new trauma, like this Alexandra domestic abuse, sexual violence group. I am sharing more that I've shared probably in certain recovery meetings, specifically because they know exactly that whole topic that we're talking about. But again, I'm mindful. Like I think, and I'll let. Sorry, I don't want to take over, but we'll get into boundaries. Oh, here we go. I snoozed it for 5 minutes. You guys like it? It's just making sure we keep going. The biggest piece, I think, that is the most important for me anyway, is anything I'm saying to you, I will say to that person. Okay? So anything that comes out of your mouth, if you won't say it directly to that person exactly the way you're saying it now, that you should not be saying it. And I think the times where, for whatever reason, I haven't been able to have that conversation with the person, that's when I go to sponsor, whatever. I'm mindful. I'm still aware of what I'm saying, and I do stand by 100% what I said. And I think that the people that are going around and won't even give you that time of day, they're going to say this and that to everybody else but you. Again, red flag. That means they're in their own, this again, it said my mic wasn't working. We might have to do a replay next week. I don't know what's going on. But, okay, so the last thing I wanted to say was that clip. If you listen to the whole thing, Berde, she makes a really great point about, you have to share your shame, right? You have to be vulnerable. But make sure that it's not going to slap you in the face. Make sure it's with the right people. There's this great meme, and I don't have it tonight. I've shared it on another show, but something along the lines of, don't take advice from anyone you don't even, respect their opinion. So if you're sharing some deep shit about yourself, watch, just think. Oh, okay. Let me back that up. If someone's sharing some shit to you about somebody else, in my mind right away, I'm like, oh, I wonder what they say about me behind my back. They're talking. But again, anything I say, I 100% stand by and I always offer to have a conversation. Do you know how many people do not want to pick up the phone or respond to a text or whatever, share the shit to everybody else but me? Why do you think that is? Okay, so I'm going to keep watching the freaking mic here and make sure we don't blast off. But let's get into the positive solutions, right? Okay, let's talk about boundaries. So, Edge, boundaries. What do you know of boundaries? Have you been practicing boundaries? I'll be honest, I didn't know what boundaries even were a year ago.
Lacking in boundaries. I definitely learn through therapy and through practice, sometimes learning the hard way. So a boundary for me would be to protect myself, and sometimes I put others first. A lot of times I put others first and what they want, what they think. If I can just be honest and try to honor honesty and connection, then that's the key right there. On here it says gossiping can kill, and we need to raise each other up and really just be those safe places for people. I don't judge. If someone's telling me something, I'm trying to live in the solution, like Bridget was talking about. We definitely do need to share shame, guilt. I'm a bad person, or I'm suffering because I did something that was harmful. And thank God we have a program of action that will limit our suffering if we choose.
Did you want to share anything? You don't have to.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's a ton to share on finding that solution. I was lost in it for a very long time, and I think that obviously finding the safe space and the safe people to share with is huge, but also, just like you said, following through with the action. How do I want to show up better in my life? How do I want to show up better for other people? Would I want that to be said about me in that way? And a lot of the time, people pleasing comes first for me, and it'll block my ability to set boundaries with myself and other people, or stand up for what I believe in, or stand up for what I'm feeling, or this is causing me pain or uncomfort. And, even just like typical pity roommate situations, and it's hard, and I don't know why I put so much power in other people's opinions of me. And at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm showing up my best that I can with what I have, and I'm leaning on God and the people that are safe around me for support, then I hit the pillow and I know that I'm okay with myself and who I am and who I'm trying to be, and I can wake up and do better the next day. But saying those things out loud, voicing it, and I think just really sticking to, like you said, honoring what you believe in, and to have the best interest of all parties, and to kind of remain like retrospective and unbiased about it, is what I'm trying to practice right now. It's just I mean, the topic is the balance of boundaries, and I think that pretty much sums it up.
Oh, yes, that summed it up perfectly. Okay, this next clip is just literally less than a minute, but he talks about why boundaries are so important. And for me now, I like to look at boundaries as like promises, a promise to myself. And I don't want to be breaking a promise to myself, right? Like, I'm definitely a person that lives, my word is my bond. This is my integrity and my character. So, especially on Facebook, if somebody's putting some bullshit out there, I'm at that point where I'm not going to even add fuel to that fire and go on trying to defend. I'm not going to sink to that level defending myself, right? I know where I stand, and I want to have a conversation. You want to have a conversation with me? Let's have a conversation. You just want to go vent to the world that you're the victim. Well, that speaks volumes of where you're at. But here's a great clip talking about why it's important to set the boundaries, and we'll go from there. 1 minute, peoples.
First part of setting a boundary is to acknowledge that I trust and I love myself. I have an understanding of the receiving party, and I know the best way of communicating to them. When setting boundaries, it's important to hold yourself and the people around you to this new standard of healthy interaction. If you set a boundary, but you do not hold people accountable to these boundaries, you're sending a very poor message. People might think this person's word means nothing, or I have the ability to manipulate them. If you're a parent or a loved one of somebody who has the disease of addiction, make sure that you stand as a united front. Discuss and set boundaries together. Also, be prepared for when your loved one does enter treatment or a recovery center, they might begin to set boundaries with you. Be receptive to the way they communicate and respect their boundaries. While this might seem a little weird or new to you, please understand that this is actually a very positive change and reflects someone who's healing. This is
Okay. I love that he pointed out, okay, so when we change, right? When I started changing and I started setting boundaries, right away, I realized who was going to stay in my life and who wasn't. Because those people that also had their dark things, they seeing me start to light up and be positive, they didn't like that. And they didn't like me standing up for myself. And they didn't like me, basically saying you're not taking advantage of me and you're not going to shit all over me anymore. So it's kind of hard, I think, in the beginning. Here's what's frustrating. He was like, you need to love and trust yourself. Well, I didn't fucking love myself. And I didn't trust myself, right when I walked in. And so that's why it's really hard, especially for newcomers, to come in and start setting these boundaries. And that's why it's important to align yourself with a guide, a mentor. And they always say it's something you see in somebody else. That's the person that you ask to sponsor you or work with you. It's not someone that's going around gossiping, right? It's not someone that's going around saying negative things, or they're not working a program. You don't see something in them that, inspires you or motivates you. You don't hear things. You want someone that you hear them saying things like that you want for yourself, right? So, but yeah, for boundaries. So if you if you go to the Treehouse Recovery is the channel, I will post that after this show. He talks about 3 different types of boundaries. There's a strong ego boundary, there's a weak ego boundary, and then there's a broken ego boundary. And that broken one is newcomers, right? It's new people. I also think it's people that have gone back out, got dug a little fucking deeper, and come back in, they're even more broken. So, I definitely, I never set a boundary and state this is forever. Like we're forever this is not going to happen. You're not going to do these things, based on our previous, interactions or relationships. But I definitely make sure to set an initial boundary even before I start working with someone. Like, here's what I could offer you. Here's what I'm willing to do. Because again, like Angie was saying, people pleaser, or the lovely ladies were saying, but Angie too, I started doing this thing with no boundaries, and I was getting taken advantage of, doing crazy ass shit. It was really messing up my recovery. So, but again, those people that I set boundaries, and they kept pushing them and pushing them and testing them and pushing them. Those are the people where I did have to say, okay, for this moment at this present time, we're done. No communication, like you are out of my life. Because what I'll say is, for my mental health and my recovery, I cannot have you in my life. Because you're making me drown. Like I'm losing my energy and my light and my love. And that reflects on everybody, especially my inner circle, my babies and my genuine friendships. I don't want to fuck up that just because somebody keeps fucking me over, right? Okay. Any final thoughts? Then we're jumping into the hot seat.
Definitely have final thoughts on that. Okay, I wanted to jump in and talk about being a peer recovery specialist and boundaries. Protecting myself, safety of all. And it's really scary when someone will share something with you. I'm a mandated reporter, and I really do need to figure out who's those safe people that we can share with and get to a solution. We need to focus on what that person needs and what we can do to help. And I know that I'm not alone in that. And also he was talking about pretty much when you have loved ones in treatment or whatever. So things are going to come up. People are going to share with me, and how am I going to respond? And that's going to make a huge difference. I really feel blessed and excited to be here tonight, and I'm just gleaming. Oh, also, okay, so I just wanted to share really quick a personal note. So I recently blocked and deleted. I'm 38 years old, never blocked and deleted anyone off Facebook or from my phone, and I couldn't figure out how to unblock. Of course, I'm going to unblock you because I love you, right? But you can really have some boundaries and take some space and take some time. If I'm looking at things all over Facebook and wondering what they're thinking, what they're saying about me, it's like, whoa, okay, I need to focus on me and whatever else is important. So I encourage the block and delete method. Anyway, if the relationship's meant to be and you are willing to constructively work towards some solutions, then yeah, definitely unblock that shit.
Okay, we're jumping into the hot seat because let me tell you, it's going to continue with this conversation. And yes, I'm the opposite of you, Ange, because I also never used to block people because certain people, my sister, kept blocking me and then asking me to be a friend again and then blocking me, just nonsense. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that unless there's a real safety concern or something like that. However, recently, some stuff has been coming up and I realized, well, I need to block these people because they're putting literally my name all over shit and it's not real. And I got all these people calling me. I'm not even looking at Facebook and everybody's telling me what's on Facebook. It's ridiculous. It's a circus. And I'm not going to be part of those, so part of the clowns. So, but what's nice is I started blocking one person and then another person and another person, and I'm like, why do I have them, being able to look at? Because there's the Facebook creepers who make fake accounts. They go look at through other people's pictures or whatever. I'm like, nah. I don't need these people looking at my shit. They don't need to know how awesome I am. They could just stay down over in their little posse. So I've been probably blocking. But you know what? They probably don't even notice. And if they do notice and they want to have a conversation about it, I'm more than happy to do that. Oh, you guys could share on the hot seat. So this is a hot seat time. So listeners, and we got to make sure to interact after the hot seat here, but we got more interactions. So if this is your first time listening, and it gets to be my victim tonight. So the hot seat is 3 hot, heavier, deeper questions. And they're not meant to make you feel uncomfortable. What they're really meant is to highlight, I find that myself and a lot of people in recovery, we're deeper people, right? We've gone through some shit. We have we can have really genuine, awesome conversations. And something I ask you that you answer, somebody listening might say to themselves, yes, me too. I connect with that. So here we go. Are you ready? And ladies, Ange, you're the main person. So it's up to you guys to both answer or whatever. But here we go. Question number 1. Ange, what is the pick one if you can, hardest boundary that you've had to set for yourself? Go ahead and take a bit out of that.
Shoot. Parenting is the only thing I can think of. Saying no and meaning it and following through.
Okay, so let's tie that into recovery. So I got to tell you, there's a lot of people that are less mature than some of my older children. So let's say in recovery, and you do mentor, right? You do sponsor. So what's one of the hardest boundaries? Do you have like, so I basically have like 3 boundaries when I meet with someone that they want me to work with them that I set right out the gate. Okay. And the one I know specifically for myself is hard for me to stick to. So is there any boundary that you initially will set with someone that brand new walks in, hey, I would love for you to sponsor me or mentor me?
Being a sponsor is a learning project. I know that I definitely can't put all my eggs in one basket, and I can't take it personally if someone doesn't call or show up. So let's see, one boundary with sponsoring. Dude, no, I'm not good with boundaries, man. I just picked up a sponsee on Friday night, and she was in the treatment center I was working at, and I don't work there anymore. So I was respectful to that boundary. The law would make that apparent. So a boundary, hot seat, shit. How about if you don't put the effort in, I don't put the effort in.
There you go. See, that's perfect. And so, yes, you are a peer recovery specialist, as I am as well. And one of the things during that 1 week training taught me was to set this boundary. So it was Jonda. She said, Bridge, you can't want the recovery more than they want it for themselves. So one of my key boundaries that I say to someone I'm going to work with is, I'm going to be here when you're here. You put in the effort, I'm going to show up right along with you, but I'm not going to drag you. And I'm not going to push you, right? We're going to do this thing together. So it's kind of like right away setting that tone, like, yes, I'm not going to keep checking on you. Now, I'm not going to stop, but I'm definitely not going to be in every day, every week. I haven't heard from them. I'm just give you your space, and that gives me space too. Okay. Question number 2, which kind of runs along the same thing. So let's see if we could get something more deeper. Question number 2, and who has or still does, this is who, a person, who has or still does tests or completely disregards your boundaries? So feel free to only share what you feel comfortable. But who's someone who definitely either tests your boundaries, don't say your kids, tests your boundaries, or, completely disregards them, especially if you're trying to set that, make those boundaries within yourself.
Okay, well, I'm scared. I was totally scared when you were asking that, and I don't want to cry.
Let it out, girl.
I definitely have been that person to not respect boundaries, I guess, in my marriage, but in relationships or as far as recovery goes, I feel totally safe with most people in recovery. And when I get treated poorly, that's when I need to step up and when I need to change something because I'm worth it. And it's a lot more important than that, to just sit back and let someone say and do hurtful things.
Well, okay. I'm glad you just maybe and then we'll go to your sister, your lovely sister who's right next to you. I would say that is 100% true. I think at the end of the day, without those promises to myself and those boundaries to myself, it hurts so much. And I initially get angry, right? Because they're testing my boundaries and pushing my boundaries, but really it's because I'm hurt. It's that ager's that protective, what is it called? A bodyguard, because I'm really sad, Okay, question number 3, and again, this is both of you, one of you, whatever. What is the biggest consequence you fear? So let's say you use to borrow for whatever reason. You have a slip, you go out, you reuse, some people relapse. What would be that biggest consequence, you think?
I want to hear from my sister.
Okay. This mic's over to you.
All right, it's Teresa here. Unfortunately, prison is on the table for me if I get loaded. I just got out of prison in June, and I am officially off parole, which is a huge accomplishment for me. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Interaction time?
Yes.
All right. And then losing everything that I've worked so hard to gain, which is my family, my friends, my integrity, clarity, everything. I didn't have a relationship with anyone. I couldn't show up for myself or anyone else, that's for sure. So I think just the world would crumble if I got high. It's pretty much.
I have goosebumps.
Okay, and so let's see. Facebook user says, when dealing with new people in recovery. Oh, I love this. Oh, I'm going to flash this one. When dealing with new people in recovery, don't be a professional friend, but a friendly professional. Ooh, that's beautiful. And 100%, at each participant or client or person that I'm working with, you know, this is my job as well. That's why I think I've cut down on just specifically sponsor steps thing. Is I do spend most of my time listening to them. And I'm very mindful of when I share some stuff about myself, but I definitely make sure I have them set boundaries for themselves, right? Because I want to make sure that I never cross that. And I try to, well, I have to follow my own boundaries and stuff that I'm trying to build within them. So, okay. That was really good. And to answer that question myself, wait, what was the question? I already rambled on. The biggest, I think, consequence for me, you know, right away I would say, okay, losing the kids or losing my house. But really, for me, if I went out and used tomorrow, I would lose my truth. I'm about to go through some shit again with a lot of things that are very, like, bringing up a lot of old court stuff. Now I got new court stuff, bringing a lot of that fear and my insecurities and those old feelings of, like, I'm a shitty person. I deserve to be punished. Like, I'm overreacting and just questioning myself. It's just questioning myself again. But at the end of the day, because I have today, because I'm sober today, I have my recovery today, nobody can take that away from me. That is my truth. That gives me so much confidence and strength in myself. So these other people right now that we're about to get into some things, you know, again, they're spewing a bunch of stuffs and they're saying all these horrible things to me. But guess what? I don't fucking believe them anymore. I know who I am. And if I had a drink tomorrow, though, all that shit is right out the window for me. So for me, the biggest consequence is I would lose my own integrity as a person, my character as a person, my own truth, my own final truth that I've had within myself.
Let me tell you something really quick.
Of course.
Even if you were to use, say you live through that, you can come back. We can try again. And I love that. That's what I learned from the peer recovery class, is that it's not over. Everything we did wasn't lost. It's not the end. Yeah, people use all the time over and over again because of shame and guilt, because I'm such a bad person and I did this and I did that. But it's like, no, turn from it, start again, and you're not alone.
Oh, yes. Yes, I think that's beautiful. That's the biggest thing. Yes. If I've made that bad choice for some crazy reason, I don't even know. Like, I can't even see myself doing that, but I did many times before. I think that's what the fellowship gave me, was that I knew I could come back. And I think I tell myself, if I'm having thoughts, if I'm having, using dreams, okay, these things, I start talking about it, because I know if I don't talk about it and it stays in my head, it could go to some really dark places. So, but again, be careful who I'm sharing my shit to, because the wrong person who's looking to kick me when I'm down, or just waiting for that moment that I fail, they're going to love to just share that to everybody and anybody. Just really, which we all know is just deflecting within their own shit. Okay, if you heard it, the last the last alarm went off, because guess what? Our last segment is called Live Facebook Memes, and it's my favorite part of the show. And I definitely handpicked a few good ones. I can't remember all of them, but tonight, the ones that we're going to be... I'm hearing noises. That's weird.
Oh. I was just hopping on.
Oh, you're so funny. Okay. Really? Really? Okay, the great thing is I finally got good on my tech stuff, so the listeners can whip out their phone right now and actually see the memes that I'm going to flash. So all we're going to do, Ange and Teresa, is I'm going to show you whatever reason, I screenshotted my favorite meme through the week, favorite ones, and tonight we're going to share them. And like Facebook, I encourage you to comment, or just a reaction, laugh out loud, hearts, angry face, whatever it is. But yeah, we're going to open up. So I won't be able to respond or see comments until after this, but we'll definitely check in right after the segment. Okay. Oh, I always almost forget my favorite part of my favorite last segment here is the wonderful sound effects that my lovely 11-year-old mini-me daughter opened me up to. So it's fun if it works. However, I lately, especially when I'm struggling and I just need to take a pause from all outside things, I put in my earbuds and put on some good music, and my phone now has to be off of Bluetooth. Okay, here we go. Fun sound effects. Oh my goodness, it's really low here. Okay, let's see, turn volume way up. There we go.
What?
All right. It's about to get mysteriously weird and fun in here. Okay, here we go. I got about 7 or 8, maybe 9 or 10. I can't remember. But first one, so you must describe it. At least there are a couple people that do not have smartphones. Did not see this. So go ahead, describe the picture. Then go ahead and read what we got up there.
Got the man in black and red. He kind of looks like Where's Waldo, but he's burnt the fuck up. Freddy Krueger. Never stop dreaming because he wants to infiltrate and lie to you and steal your happiness. Was that okay?
Yeah. So it says, never stop dreaming. Quote by Freddy Krueger. And that's just perfect because, Halloween's around the corner. And he don't want you to stop dreaming ever. That's when he's going to get you. Okay. Here we go. Oops. Okay. Next one, go into the correct meme. Meme number 2 is a puppy dog sitting on the driver's seat in a car looking a little perturbed. What does the dog say?
When I'm picking someone up and they make me wait more than 5 seconds to come out, I'm not supposed to say names on here, but you know who you are.
Isn't it true, though? I know
he looks really pissed off. Yeah, he's just like head in the air. Oh, God.
And isn't it true? Because, especially if I'm going out of my way to give somebody a ride, be fucking ready, right? And they're taking 5, okay, this said seconds, but if you're taking more than a few minutes, I am getting a little upset. Okay, I'm burning gas here. I'm broke. I'm going out of my way to help you. Let's help me help you. Okay, meme number 3, just words. Go ahead and read that. Teresa.
All right. The loudest boos will always come from the cheapest seats. People who invest the least in you will have the most to say about you. Trust your work and keep your circle tight, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo woo.
That is some true shit.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
I think it's sad but accurate, yeah. So when people have to be loud and say the same shit over and over again, it's like, wow, you're just saying that to hear yourself. What the hell? But yeah, so really just awareness is key for sure.
Right? Just keeping that circle tight. And I like that. They are the ones in the cheapest seats. They're not investing in, whatever game they're going to. The ones who spent $300 a ticket, they're trying to be involved in the game.
Are you worth it?
Yeah, trying to enjoy the recovery. And, okay, anyway, moving on. Okay, so this might be a little hard. I'll just describe it, and then I'll let you just give me your reactions, you guys. Okay, ladies. Let's see. So, if you're familiar with The Office, this is a great show. You got Steve Carell. So, in one square, he says, what are you doing to prepare for World War III? And the female, I forget her name. Do you guys? Pam. Pam says, I'm stockpiling food. What about you? And Steve Carell goes, I'm stockpiling guns and ammo. And Pam goes, well, why aren't you stockpiling food? And Steve goes, because you're stockpiling my food.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Taker's take, man. And she just looks like, oh, shit, you're right.
And he's getting ready because he's going to have to get the food some way. And, I wouldn't want to go against somebody like that. That's just smart. What is it? Work smarter, not harder? Okay. Ooh, this one I actually handpicked for you, Ange. Go ahead and read that one. It's a lovely lady sit out on a balcony, stars behind her.
This is probably my ego, but I mean, at my core, my soul. I am magic. I know I am magic, and no one can stop my magical ass. I think that's my new affirmation daily in the morning in the mirror.
Yes. Hearts. And I do think you're magic. I do say though, I'm being authentic. You just have a glow. You have a shine. And even if you're not having the best day, I still see it in you. I still see strength in you, and I still like immediately when you come into a meeting, I'm like, ooh, yes, I can't wait for her pearls. I can't wait for her share. You're one of those people that when I go to meetings, there's certain people I'm like, oh, they're gonna be a rambler, and then there's certain people I'm like, yes, I can't wait for what they share, what they have to say. So whatever you say, pass, or I'm just gonna listen tonight, Ange. I'm like, oh,
Which is rare, and I'd say ditto to you, Bridge.
oh, yes, can't stop your magical ass. I love it. Okay, just words. I think it's meant to be funny. Go ahead and read that, Teresa.
Imagine not liking me, but still being my friend on Facebook. Laughing, crying face, fucking weirdos.
Fucking weirdos.
They admire from afar because they still want to stalk you, even if they claim to be a hater. They're still showing you attention.
Well, I'm kind of a fucking weirdo, and I'm probably the queen of weirdos. But yeah, I love everyone genuinely.
Yes, and there's good weirdos, and then there's bad weirdos, aka creepers. Okay, that's the difference there. Okay, again, just words. What have you two?
My life is like a romantic comedy. Oh Lord. Except there's no romance, and it's just me laughing at my own jokes. But bump.
Right?
Accurate.
Would you say that's very accurate for myself? That's why I definitely love this one.
That's why I love me, motherfuckers.
Yes, and who knows? There's a few. There's this. I can't even remember the title of it, but she grows up hating rom-coms, romantic comedies, right? Well, at first she liked them, and then she realized they're all fake. You never have a happily ever after, and then. But the end of it, she realizes, and it's very funny, by the way. I wish I could remember the name, but she realizes she doesn't need anybody else to have her happy ending. She just needs herself to love herself. Okay, here we go. Two more. This one's great. Actually, I think this applies to all of us probably in this room. Go ahead. So it's a person on a boat with some crazy ass rocky waves. I don't know how to describe it. Just a scary ride in there in the boat, water. And what does it say?
When life gets crazy, but you stay calm, navigating your spiritual path, and when you got spirituality, you're safe people in God, you can stay calm through anything, even when everyone else is losing their fucking shit.
Well, let me just observe a little more here. There's definitely rocks really close by. He's got a life preserver on. Who the fuck is driving? Is it God? Is it you?
Right. Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't even notice the life preserver. Okay, so for me, life preservers are those genuine sisters in recovery, right? So even my ass falls out this fucking boat, I'm still going to stay up above water at least for a minute because I got my sisters or I got my peoples. It's not all females, but genuinely, 99% of the ones in my inner circle are the ladies. Okay, last and not least, final meme. Go ahead, Ange.
The goal isn't just to be sober. The goal is to build a life you don't need to escape from. And I know that I suffer from my own insanity and my own jail that I can put myself in. So, yeah, sober becomes kind of easy. And the thoughts are what can kill. So who am I surrounding myself with? What am I doing to secure my recovery? And am I living in the now? Am I present? And am I aware of my character defects? Work the steps.
Yeah. Teresa, any final thoughts on?
Yeah, I mean, if I have things to be passionate about and things that I love and I will fight for and things that I don't want to give up for anything, then I'm less likely to want to drown myself in getting loaded and all the, insanity of what that life comes with. And I think that all we need is love. I'm just kidding. No, all we need is each other and God and the steps. And to me, that's what I found successful. So that's it.
Okay. And definitely, for me, it's not God. I like good, orderly direction. But I have my spirit guides. I have my higher powers. I have, something bigger and greater than me that I believe in that's definitely looking out for my ass. But I definitely would say, I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, okay? And it's mostly for success in life and business and whatever. But I find it very useful. Those speakers are very useful in just the recovery. And for me, they always say, surround yourself with people that are like-minded, right? So that's why I like, being a peer recovery specialist, right? And hanging out and networking with other, because certified peer recovery specialists, because we're on the same page, right? We have the same mindset. We found this thing, it's working, and we want to bring other people with us. We want to offer that hand, bring people with us, but definitely support our community. And so I do not do fellowship or fun events, whatever, with people that are just not, on my energy, happy, whatever stage of my life, and to have positive things and that I can learn from and that I can grow from and that I feel connected with, And as I'm going on 3 years now, but definitely the people I hung around in the first year, they kind of didn't have that same motivation or whatever. And I don't hang out with them anymore. And it went both ways, let me tell you, but they're still doing them, but I'm doing, I feel like, a podcast. I've still tried to, the pink cloud is bullshit. A lot of people are like, you don't get burnt out. Yes, I had pink cloud, but I definitely kept that momentum going. I dropped out for a little bit, but I definitely built some really good, genuine friendships. And so I keep that momentum going. And I know for me, it's every fucking day. Every day I have to self-reflect. I have to check in with my higher power because it's really quick for me. My brain, my mind, it can be a prison. And if I don't reach out and I don't talk to people, I could go right back into the ditch. So, but yes,
I just
anytime.
had to add my 2 cents really quick. So you mentioned the pink cloud. And I know that you're not doing what you're doing for you. I mean, yes, ultimately it ends up cycling around, but we can find that happiness and that peace in ourselves. We don't need to seek outward stimulus or whatever. And it takes a village. That's what I've learned tonight, is that I'm not alone. Our AA or NA, whatever recovery, whatever your pathway is, whatever support you have, please just reach out and stay connected.
Yes. And I would love to say, I definitely have my circle of people, family in recovery, but my inner circle people, I definitely call my tribe. And those are my folks that we got each other's back. And like in that Brene Oprah thing, like they're the ones that I know I can be the most vulnerable, and they don't think that I failed or I let them down. They can listen to what I actually really listen and hear, and just let me have that space. That doesn't need to be, I need to fix you, or I need to, look at myself, and it's crazy to me. And I do feel bad. I feel bad for the folks that are out there on Facebook or just out there in general talking smack about other people. What I know is they're really hurting inside. And I feel like some recent stuff that happened with me and my shit on blast, that's fine. You know what? I did see the comments. I got screenshots from other people. I did not ask for them, let me tell you. But I saw that, but I really liked the people that, replied to that person, just validating what they said. Yeah. And not attacking me or whoever else was named, just stating, oh, I could see how you would feel this way. And I could see how that might, they could justify that. But they didn't go down that dark rabbit hole and say, yeah, I know this about them, they're a shitty person. But they gave that person what they were really seeking. Not necessarily just attention, but more support and help. So, yes, okay, it is 9:03. I think this was it's so quick. I feel like there's a lot of things I wanted to go into, but is there anything else you guys want to, can we wrap it up? Okay, let's make sure, any more comments? Oh, crap. Oh, shit, we got, what is it, trolls? I got to block them. Block user. Block the user, and cleaned them out. Who's this one? Okay, this is a good one. Let's see. I love you, Angie. I love hearing your voice. How timely is this topic for you? Oh, how timely is the topic for you? Yes.
Well, yeah, definitely. Going through divorce and co-parenting and moving out on my own and starting anew.
Yes, and I 100% commend you. And I got to tell you, I've been talking about people. I've been talking about you,
Yeah,
to other people, but in the best way possible. I just shared with my roomie, Sarah, how freaking awesome I think you are. I'm like, I know that I can say anything to you. It's not going to shock you. And I love that you're just real with it. You're real with, I know that anything that you say, there's no underlying meaning. There's no, you're withholding some information. I just know it's, real. And it doesn't, like off-put me. I find that when I share stuff with other people, they get a little scared sometimes. I see a little fear in their eyes, but I love that with you. I could just totally be free with my weird, happy, positive energy, and it doesn't scare people or make them feel awkward. You, anyway. So, all right, everybody have a great week. Sending out all the good, positive energies, and I hope somebody heard something that might make a positive effect on today's is today. Tomorrow's a brand new day, a brand new week. All right, that's it. I got some inspirational music, and that is a wrap.